What's going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne. Thank you for joining me in another video. Today, we are here at Motorcars of Atlanta, and we're here to take a look at the brand new 2019 Lamborghini Urus. This is considered the world's first super sport utility vehicle, or SSUV. But just to be clear, this is not Lamborghini's first entry into the SUV market. Approximately 33 years ago, between the years of 1986 and 1993, Lamborghini produced the LM002. That was their first entry into the SUV market. There were roughly 328 produced. Now, with that being said, this Urus is shown in a Bianco Icarus with a black leather interior. So today, let's go through the exterior and interior details of this vehicle and see how this ride has been engineered for excellence. Let's start off the review by talking about some of the exterior design characteristics. At first look, this is instantly recognizable as a Lamborghini to me, from its sloped roof to its shared angles all over the bodywork. As a matter of fact, I bet if you put the Urus right next to an Huracan Performante, you could easily see the family resemblance. When you take a look at the front of the vehicle, you will notice the hood sits extremely high, but as you come forward, it tapers and then drops off to a sharp edge, setting a theme for the sharp edges and angles throughout the car's bodywork. Now, if you come over to the headlamps, of course they are LED, but if you look closely, you'll notice they feature the Y shape, which can be seen in other Lamborghini models. Coming lower, you have a sensor for your adaptive cruise control, and then of course, angular bodywork as well. Taking a look at the side profile of the Urus, if you look at the wheel wells, they have angles incorporated into the design, and that kind of reminds me a little bit of the Lamborghini Countach from back in the day. Now, if you look at the overall side profile, again, the Urus is defined by various angles, but if you focus on the center portion, it looks extremely lean and toned. But coming further back, you have these muscular-like haunches that kind of give this car an aggressive look. Now, one of my favorite design cues of the Urus is if you open the doors, you will notice that the glass is frameless. That's typically something that you would only see on a sports car or a coupe, but I love how they've incorporated this design cue into the car, giving it a sporty appeal as well. Taking a look at the rear of the Urus, like I said before, it's defined by a sweeping roofline which goes down into the hatch. And the hatch has a spoiler placed on it for enhanced stability at speed as well. Now, coming towards the tail lamps, they're defined by that Y theme which we discussed at the front of the vehicle. And of course, you have your Lamborghini exhaust system, which sounds amazing, and we'll get to hear that a little bit later in the review. But since this is an SUV, we might as well go ahead and talk about storage. So while the car is in this configuration, it has up to 21.6 cubic feet of storage, which is quite impressive for a Lamborghini. We talked about quite a few of the design cues of the Urus. Let's go ahead and hop into some of the characteristics that impact the driving dynamics. Now, this is an SUV, so naturally it has all-wheel drive. As a matter of fact, by default, the Urus has 40% of the torque sent to the front axle and then 60% of the torque sent to the rear. But if conditions demand, up to 70% of the torque can be sent to the front or 80% can be sent to the rear. This is made possible by a torsion center differential. Now, taking it a step further, the Urus also features torque vectoring, so it's able to channel 75% of the car's power to one side, allowing this car to be extremely nimble for an SUV. Now, speaking of being nimble, the Urus has a wheelbase of approximately 9.8 feet, but it's able to virtually shorten or lengthen the wheelbase by 2 feet. How does that happen? The Urus features four-wheel steering, meaning that the rear wheels can turn plus or minus 3 degrees. So at low speeds, the rear wheels will turn in the opposing direction of the front wheels, allowing the car to be more agile. Now, at high speeds, the rear wheels will turn in the same direction as the front wheels, allowing the car to be more stable at speed. Now, for a smooth ride, the Lamborghini Urus features an active roll control system, and we discussed that in a few of our reviews in previous vehicles. Essentially, what the active roll control system does is allow the Urus to instantly respond to turns or changes in road surface, allowing the body to stay level and give you a smooth ride. And speaking of a smooth ride, the Urus also features an air suspension system. Now, depending on what setting it's in, you can have 6.2 inches of clearance or up to 9.8 inches of clearance. Let's take a look at the wheels, tires, and brakes of this particular Urus. This car features the 22-inch Nath wheels, which have been shod in Pirelli P0s that are 285 up front, 325 in the rear. Now, 23-inch wheels are available as an option on this vehicle. The brake rotors are where things start to get interesting. Of course, they're carbon ceramic for enhanced heat dissipation and keeping your unsprung mass to a minimum. But up front, your brake rotors are 17.3 inches in diameter. Lamborghini claims these are the largest brake rotors ever to be fit on a production vehicle. They are clamped down by 10 piston calipers up front. Now in the rear, your brake rotors are 14.5 inches in diameter. Taking a look underneath the hood, you're going to find a 4-liter bi-turbo V8 power plant. And come to think of it, this is the first time a Lamborghini has ever left the factory stock with turbos. Now, of course, those turbos have been placed inside the valley of the V, making this a hot V configuration. Now, there are some key benefits to that. One, overall, is a compact design. You also have a more efficient design, and most importantly, there's near zero pressure loss or turbo lag, since the compressed charge from the turbo has a short distance to travel from the turbo to the cylinder banks. Now let's talk some figures. This car makes 641 horsepower or 650 metric horsepower at 6,000 RPM. Now it also makes 626 pound-foot of torque at the low engine speed of 2,250 RPM all the way to 4,500 RPM. This power plant is connected to an 8-speed automatic transmission, so your 0 to 60 time is 3.6 seconds, and it also has a top speed of 190 miles per hour, making this the world's fastest SUV. Yes, that means it's faster than the Jeep Trackhawk and faster than the Bentley Bentayga, which has a top speed of 187 miles per hour. So now that we've discussed some of the details of the power plant, let's hear the exhaust note. So that exhaust sounded absolutely incredible. Now, since we checked out some of the exterior details, let's go ahead and check out some of the interior details of the Urus. Sitting in the interior, one of the first things I noticed is that there are hexagonal shapes everywhere you look in this car, which reminds me a little bit of the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, meaning 6 element, which is carbon, which is very appropriate for Lamborghini. Starting at the top of the dash, it's covered in this smooth and supple black leather and features contrast red stitching. Looks really nice. You have 2 air conditioning vents in the center here with that hexagonal theme I mentioned before as well. Now, one of my favorite features about this car are the 2 touchscreens located in the center console. They are clear and vibrant, and they feature haptic feedback, so you actually get some feedback while using these screens. One of the things I don't like about most touchscreens on the market is that there's no haptic feedback. I really like having that feedback when I cycle through the menus. Coming further back in the center of the console, you have the tamburo, which means drum in Italian. Now, the tamburo features your anima switch, which allows you to cycle between different modes for the car. You have 3 modes for the street, which are Strada, Sport, and Corsa, and 3 modes for off-road, which are Sabbia, Terra, and Neve. Now, on the opposite side of the tamburo, you have the Ego mode, which allows you to customize the setting to your liking. Now, in the center of the tamburo, you have the engine start-stop button, which is fighter jet inspired with this red latch you flip over before you press it. And then you also have your gear selector in the center. Now, you also have 2 cup holders in the center console, again with that hexagonal theme as well. Coming over to the steering wheel, it feels nice and smooth in my hands on the top and bottom, but on the side you have perforations, and then you also have contrast stitching throughout. Now, it also features the hexagonal design theme with the Lamborghini emblem in the center as well. Behind the steering wheel, you have 2 shift paddles if you want to drive in manual mode. You also have a 12.3-inch thin film transistor display, which is vibrant and easy to read and provides tons of information as well. The door panels are covered in a smooth black leather. They feature aluminum contrast accents, and you have an aluminum door handle as well. You have unlock and lock buttons, Alcantara, which is typical of Lamborghini, and red contrast stitching. Now, your door also features controls for all 4 windows and your side view mirrors, and of course there's a little bit of storage on the bottom of the door as well. The seats of the Lamborghini Urus are extremely comfortable. They feature 3 levels of heating and cooling, which is industry standard, and they're adjustable in several different ways as well. Now, one of my favorite features about the seats in this particular vehicle is that the emblem has been embroidered in the headrest. I think that's a very nice touch. But they are extremely comfortable, and this is quite easily a car you could take on long road trips. Now, a nice feature of the Urus that I like is the panorama roof. In case you feel claustrophobic, just push back on this button and a shade folds back into the cabin and reveals this panorama roof that goes pretty much the length of the cabin, allowing light to come in. And if that's not enough, the glass can be opened and retracted as well. Sitting in the back of the Urus, I'm really quite shocked on how much legroom I have. Now, when I got out of the driver's seat, I didn't adjust the seat at all, and I had 3 to 4 inches of legroom, which is surprising to me. I'm also surprised at how much headroom I have, and that's probably because I saw that low-slung roofline from the outside, but it's actually quite spacious back here. The seats are just as comfortable as they are up front, and your door panels feature just as much of that high-quality leather that was found up front, and of course, your aluminum door handles contrast stitching and storage. Now, all the doors in this car feature aluminum speaker grills that have that Y-shaped theme integrated into its design. That's really neat. Now, in the center console in the rear, you have 2 cup holders and also some storage located here with 2 USB ports as well. You also have controls for your climate control and then controls for your heated seats in the back as well. That was a brief tour of the Lamborghini Urus. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments section. I was literally prepared to hate this car, but now that I've seen it in person, I kind of like it. 190 miles per hour top speed, 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds, the fastest SUV in the world. I would like to give Motorcars of Atlanta a special thanks for allowing me to come out and film the Urus. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.